Before we begin, please know that some episodes include language that may be sensitive for some people. When I was 8 years old, I had my first midwifery experience. At least I thought I did. I was watching one of our chickens lay an egg. She seemed to be working so hard, and I'd figured I'd help her next time. Well, that chicken made it very clear she did not need my help. So I just stood there and watched in awe. Not long after that, my mother woke us children in the middle of the night to witness our family dog giving birth. I'll never forget the sight of her body opening to bring those 5 tiny puppies into the world. It was raw, instinctive, and sacred. From that moment on, I asked to be woken for any animal birth on our little hobby farm. I didn't want to miss a thing. My name is Connie Fetterly, and I'm a retired midwife with 25 years' experience and nearly 1,000 births behind me. And yet, the awe I felt as a child has never left me. This is the Birth Portal. A place for birth stories that teach us, move us, that honor the art, truth, and mystery of birth. In this podcast, I'll be sharing stories of births that have stayed with me, moments that were beautiful, intense, unpredictable, and deeply human. Some stories will carry important lessons about birth positions, complications, and what helped make a difference in the moment. Others will simply reflect the wonder of watching a family be born, whether it's the first child or the 5th. You'll hear about the times I invited fathers to catch their babies, and the strength I've seen in women who, even in their hardest moments, found the power to say out loud, "I can do it. I can do it. I'm healthy. I'm strong." Because birth is more than a clinical event, it's a threshold. And through these stories, I hope to honor that mystery while offering something real to learn along the way. Before we begin, I want to share something important. While the stories you'll hear are true and drawn from real births that I've witnessed, some timelines or small details may be slightly altered. This is done with care to protect the privacy of the families that I've had the honor of supporting over the years. Their trust has always been sacred to me. My hope is that by sharing what I've learned through these births, the moments of strength, struggle, surprise, and joy, that I can offer some value to families and birth workers today and in the future. Thank you for stepping into the birth portal with me. The stories are ready. Let's begin. Today's true story is about a planned home water birth to a second-time mother I'll call Emma. Emma was 5 days past her due date when she paged me about 2:30 in the morning to report that her water broke at midnight. She says that her contractions are now 5 to 7 minutes apart when she lies down, but every 1 to 2 minutes apart when she's standing. Emma breaks into a contraction while talking to me, and I can tell by the tone this is a strong contraction. Emma is quite deep-sounding in her moan. I let her know I'm on my way. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And I instruct her to call me back on my cell phone if things change, like she suddenly has to push. When I arrive, they have the tiny pool set up and are starting to fill it with water. Their hot water tank is small and runs out very quickly, so we begin boiling pots of water. When I examine Emma, she's 5 centimeters dilated. I can feel the suture lines and fontanelles of the baby's head that tell me the baby is facing forward towards Mum's pubic bone. Not ideal. Emma's back is paying the price. We call this back labor. This is such a painful way to labor, and it can lengthen labor significantly sometimes. Approximately 95% of these babies will turn and face towards Mum's back for the delivery, thankfully. A baby's skull is not a solid bone like ours, and the suture lines are the areas between the bones of the skull of the baby, and this allows the bones to move, sometimes overlapping, to decrease the overall size of the baby's head as it passes through the canal. You can feel these ridges on the baby's head after the birth, and it can take some time to move back into their original position. Fontanelles are the 2 openings or soft spots in the skull of the baby. One is the posterior fontanelle, or at the back of the baby's head, and is in the shape of a triangle. The other is the anterior fontanelle, just above the forehead at the top of the baby's head, and is in the shape of a diamond. When a baby is facing towards the front of the mum's pelvis, The back of the baby's head can put pressure on the mother's spine, a very common part of labors. There are many things that we can recommend to encourage babies to turn and face the back. Just a few include the Miles circuit, which include 3 different positions to alternate in. Position number 1, the mom is on her hands and knees for about 15 minutes, rocking her hips from side to side. Then after that, she would stay on her knees but lower her head and do that rocking of the hips from side to side for 15 minutes. In the 3rd position, she would lie on her left side with her left leg straight on the bed and her right knee supported on a pillow, pulled as high towards her chin as possible, rocking her hips from side to side. And this circuit is repeated until the pain in the back has subsided, which usually means the baby has moved. Another option is doing lunges on stairs. So during a contraction, mom would lift one leg onto the stair and lunge forward during the contraction, hoping that the power of the contraction would push the baby down, forcing it to turn. In the hospital, we often use peanut balls. They're like exercise balls in the shape of a peanut. And we would put the peanut ball between the legs or the ankles depending on how low the baby's head is. If the baby's head was high in the pelvis, you would put the peanut ball between the mom's ankles with her knees bent towards her. If the baby's head is low enough, again, she would be lying on her side and you would put the peanut ball between her knees. Emma knows yoga and moves onto her hands and knees for a while, along with doing lunges, breathing out gentle sounds of pain. 1 hour later, she's feeling rectal pressure, a hopeful sign. But unfortunately, it's still only 6 centimeters dilated. However, I do feel the baby is starting to turn a bit. The tub is full of warm water and she climbs in and immediately finds some relief from the gravitational pull. I encourage her to try and float on her left side, pulling her right knee up as high as she can. Her moans suddenly change to stronger ones, and I call my backup to come after 5 contractions. Dad is eager to catch this baby, excitingly waiting and supporting her at the edge of the pool. Emma begins to spontaneously produce that primal sound of pushing. She tries hard to hold back her pushes while we await the arrival of the backup midwife. After about 15 minutes, she continues to try and minimize her pushing, but it won't be long. The child that was sleeping makes an appearance, rubbing her eyes, saying, "Mummy, what's going on?" sounding worried. Daddy scoops her up and says, "Mummy's having a baby." Being a good daddy, he goes to change her diaper, and I'm thinking, you're going to miss the birth. So is my backup midwife. Emma is still trying to hold back and states she feels the burning ring of fire. That, my friends, is when the top of the baby's head is at the vaginal opening. It's a normal sensation that is short-lived, thank goodness. Kind of feels like your body's splitting in half, but it's not. I like to warn women in advance so they know that this is normal and their body is opening beautifully. I also recommend most women to feel the top of the baby's head as it's being born. Often this brings tears of joy. As Emma's baby begins to emerge with the next contraction, I say, "Dad, get out here, you're going to miss the birth." And he comes quickly with his daughter in his arms, fresh and very much awake. The backup midwife comes in as the baby's head is born with a loose nuchal cord. That's a cord around the neck, which we see about 25% of the time. The baby doesn't come easily with the next contraction. So with Mum moving to float on her back with her head against the pool, I put downward pressure on the baby's head with no movement. And suddenly, splash! Mum is holding her legs up by her chest and slips off the edge of the pool and sliding under the water, holding her breath. We help her back up and suddenly the baby is born, just as Grandma walked through the door. Dad watched holding his daughter, who announces to Grandma, "Mama just pooped out the baby." Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Birth Portal.